Hi everyone, welcome to Fox and Media Digital. My name's Amy and today I'm joined by Stewart Sanderson, who's Senior Director of UK Private Clients at Brooks Macdonald. So welcome Stewart, it's great to have you on the channel.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, of course, you're speaking at the Summit for Wealth Management on the 9th of May in London. So we wanted to put a little spotlight on you leading up to the event, find out a bit about what you're doing and what you're focusing on. And so just to set the scene, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Brooks Macdonald?
Yeah, by all means. For me, I've been in the industry 25 years now, a mix of private banking, wealth management, financial planning, and then a number of senior leadership roles. For Brooks Macdonald, I think we're a relatively well-known UK wealth management business. We're very proud of our heritage of always providing financial advice to our own clients, but we also are a business that very much supports the intermediary market from an investment perspective. And I guess being able to straddle those two key areas gives us some pretty good and unique insight into what's going on in the marketplace at the moment.
Fantastic. And tell us a little bit more about your clients. Are they UK based, are they international, and what kind of client demands are you seeing at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Brooks Macdonald, we run somewhere in the region of £17 billion, which is a great privilege, and the vast majority of that is UK based. We have an international business. The international business is based in Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man, and we use that, if you like, as a base to which transact internationally and support our international clients. But from a UK perspective, our traditional client, there will be UK resident, they'll be UK domiciled in the main. They probably are in the asset base of sort of £2 to £10 million in overall terms, and we would be managing somewhere in the region of, on average, 1 to 2 million would be the kind of starting point of the portfolios. But clearly, we will look after clients with less money, and we will look after clients with a lot more money. It comes down to, are we the right firm in terms of what we bring to the table, which is investment management, but also overlaid with financial planning to give that UK orientated wealth management service.
That's great. And for those clients in that region of wealth, what kind of priorities do they have at the moment? Are they thinking more about the market volatility, or is ESG a big priority for that kind of segment?
You know what? I think those are generally probably industry worries rather than client worries. I'm not dismissing them as they're not important. Clearly, when you start seeing portfolios rise and fall quite significantly, that sends kind of shockwaves through to the end client. And I think the client is seeking confidence and reassurance about what you're actually doing in order to preserve their wealth. But and I don't want to dismiss ESG as a kind of key theme and topic, but I think lots of these terminologies are things that we in the industry worry about more necessarily than the client. The clients, for me, still worry about the same things they've always worried about. Have I got enough money to stop working when I want to stop working? Once I have stopped working, have I got enough money to carry on living the lifestyle that I enjoy? Are my kids going to be okay? And can I make sure I look after my wealth so that I can pass it on to the next generation or mitigate as much tax as possible? So for me, I think some of the topics you highlight are definitely conversations that happen and frequently happen. But I think there's much more about where's a sensible place to talk to someone that can actually help me on the journey, do the big things that keep me awake at night. And there, to me, have always been, have I got enough, and how much do I need in order to maintain my lifestyle? That's predominantly the thing that keeps people awake.
It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, we're all mortal, so eventually that question will arise at some point in their financial journey. So I think when we think about then succession planning and inheritance planning, what are some of those minor factors that come up frequently that you often talk about with clients? What are their biggest worries, and what are some things that you do to alleviate it for them?
Yeah, so I think the number one worry with a client, or whether we're looking down the prism of an existing client or whether we're looking down the prism of a prospect, is about who to trust. Once you're with a client and you've looked after them for some time, I think it becomes second nature. We're in that really privileged position where we sit at the kitchen table with them. They tell us all about their wants, their desires, their needs, the family. We probably find more out about them and their circumstances than they disclose to just about anybody else. So as a result of that, you're in a really privileged position to help them understand, what are the options. And my experience of clients generally is, most people are quite sensible folk, but they make their money through doing something other than financial services. So what they really want to understand are the options in kind of easy to understand language, so that what can I do within my will? If I give money away, what does that mean? Do I need to tell the kids I'm proportioning this money for them? Can they benefit now? So, the kind of things we talk about frequently, Amy, would be wills, would be estate planning, would be discretionary trusts, would be potentially for some people looking at insuring their liability. For others, it might be a strategy of using, AIM-related products and benefiting from business relief. It will really depend on circumstances, but with the change of rules in pension planning, I think it's just making people think much more about their total assets when it comes to inheritance tax, and the order with which they access them. And one of the big things now is, I think, information is much more readily available than ever before. So that, and I'm sure we'll see more of it at the summit, but that interaction between in-person and kind of technology hybrid advice, I think, having access to information to do more of the kind of thinking before sitting down with your advisor, that only helps people. I think, access to information has been quite important.
Yeah, and on that note then, when it comes to the older generation, especially the ones who are sort of nearer to that time where they'll be passing on their wealth to their families, are they sort of quite keen to adopt these digital tools to look things over before they sit down with their advisor, that kind of hybrid model, or are they still very much in favour of the in-person?
Uh, I think it's dangerous to generalise, but what I would say is that the inverted brackets, silver surfer, whatever you want to suggest. I think people are much more technologically enabled, and COVID was probably a big accelerant of that. We still have conversations with clients where for an hour you might be looking up their nose or looking in their ear, where the video thing's not quite right. But the reality is, everyone likes to operate in a different way. But what I mean by that interaction, it's whoever wins in wealth management longer term is really going to get the ability to have people and technology seamlessly interact. That's what people really want. And there'll be things that some of our clients want to do themselves. Put £20,000 into an ISA, look up a valuation, check performance. But there will then be triggers whereby at that moment they want to speak to a human being. They want someone to help them. And I think the generalization is that you have to have great technology backed up by really good people. And if you get that right, it allows the client to work out and almost morph to how and what they want to operate with. I mean, I would like to think I'm pretty technologically advanced, but if you're going to give me something to read, I would much rather have still paper copy and mark up paper copy, right? Everyone's different the way they go about doing things. And I think for us, it's trying to walk a mile in your client's shoes to understand what do they actually value individually, and therefore we can start to tailor and deliver that in a much more customized fashion. That's where I think people will win, is not saying, you got £1 million, therefore you get a face-to-face advice, but everything's online. It's about understanding that for some people that's absolutely the methodology, but for others this kind of call is more enjoyable for them. For some people, they find actually a face-to-face with an advisor can be quite overwhelming. They don't want to come to London, or they don't want someone to come to their home. They're very comfortable just talking, remotely. Others, it's all about face-to-face. So for me, it's when I talk about a hybrid model, I think the service model that firms like us need to adopt is how you get technology, people, and clients' views so that they can interact at the different inflection points.
Yeah, it makes sense. And we'll actually be having a panel discussion on hybrid wealth management from a team point of view, from a client point of view, and thinking about those touch points and how to make them more seamless. So that will be interesting as well. And of course, you'll be able to talk about succession planning in a bit more detail on the day. But I think that's a really nice way to set the scene. So I'm conscious of time and we'll save some of it for the event. But thanks so much, Stewart, for joining.
Pleasure, Amy. Lovely to see you, and look forward to seeing you at the summit. Thank you.
And thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to follow our YouTube channel for more content on challenges and opportunities in asset management, wealth management and ESG. And don't forget to give this interview a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button.